Okay, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is the 22nd of July, 2026. CRAZII Global Market Talk with KEL. CRAZII anytime, anywhere. Now, as I said, every day I try my best to come online to do sharing with you. But sometimes due to work, travel, I am not able to have Pacific time. Now, usually we start about 9:15 a.m. Singapore time. That's about 8:15 for Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Indonesia. All right, this is the timing. All right, 8:15. All right, so that you can capture the Asia market, you can capture the gold market, and also prepare yourself for the US market. Right, good morning to you. Keza, good morning to you. Nyam, good morning to you. Haley, good morning to you. All right, Haley, sorry. All right, so today we're going to do the Zoom right now as early as this morning. And of course, disclaimer apply as usual. Please kindly do your risk assessment. You can turn on the translation, the transcribe, you can turn it on, and then you can actually see the wordings. Now, of course, due to the accent, due to the speed, sometimes you do have a very bad translation along the way. So I realized that the translation for this Zoom is very bad. So please turn on your Gemini, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, turn it on. Then turn on the volume. Then let the translation, let my voice be translated through those AI products. And then after that, you see the translation is better. Really, it's much, much better. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at the fundamental for today first. What is happening around the world? Okay. So first of all, we all know that the Dow have gained 400 points yesterday. S&P 500 snapped a 3-day losing streak after the chip stock recovered due to technical oversold. Now, I already told you guys yesterday there's a very high chance the market will rebound because of the technical level. A little bit oversold, yeah. So that is one reason why. And now the thing is this: we have recent one. Benson has said that U.S. could sanction China over AI model theft. Oh gosh, okay. So this is another U.S. little tricks that they like to do, saying that the China market is stealing their AI model. Okay. So we all know that it's always the case. They always have something to blame. They won't blame anybody but themselves. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So that is something to take note. So the stock market, let's take a look. The Dow gained 400 points. So what happened? Let's take a look. The Dow basically went up because 3M shares up by 7% after the industrial gain second quarter. Now, General Motors, GM, also reported a top and bottom line report, lifting the share up by 5%. And basically after that, we have Alphabet, IBM, Tesla coming out their earnings, right? Now, Alphabet result will be out, I think, this week. So take note of that. Okay, yesterday we also saw the Van Eck Semiconductor ETF, which is all the chip maker. They also up by between 6 to 12%. Wow, okay. And Central Command has carried out its 10th consecutive night of strikes on Iran since Donald Trump declared the ceasefires over, while Tehran force have struck the U.S. military assets across Middle East, and its Houthi ally have declared a maritime embargo against Saudi Arabia. Okay, so the war is still ongoing apparently. So that's why the oil price has shot up. Now, I've been still calling for buy on oil. I still believe that oil will go to $86.88. I've given you my my forecast back then. So hopefully you have make some money out of that. Okay. Then of course, we have the next one is that the US and the Houthis fight in Saudi Arabia. And then JP Diamond, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, says that the market now is a little bit too high. He won't be buying stocks or treasuries at this current price. Now, this JP Diamond is always like doing this. He'll tell you not to buy, then his team buy. So he didn't buy, but his team bought it. So it's always like that. I've always been seeing this guy. But of course, I felt that the current price right now is really too high to buy. Now, the U.S. Treasury yesterday continued to edge. The Treasury yield continued to trade higher because the investors still believe that the geopolitical risk is still there. So yield goes up, bond price goes down. Yeah, so take note of that. Yield and bond price, they are inversely related. All right, so it's very simple. If the people believe in the U.S. government, they'll buy the bond. So the bond price will go up. When the bond price goes up, the yields come down. That means that the more you buy, the lesser you earn, but it's very safe because it's a guaranteed return. But on the flip side, if the people thinks that US is a danger, they will sell the bond away. And because the bond price comes down, no one wants to buy it. The yield go up to attract new people to come in. So that's why the bond price and the yield price, they are inversely related. Okay, very, very important. Yeah, I'm looking at the translation on the left on the Zoom. Totally don't know what it's translating. Okay, all right. Now the economics front. What's the calendar for today? For today, let's hold on. When my filter is going to filter up, I think. Yes, filtering. Okay. All right. So for today, there's only one. For today, there's only one big major news. It's the crude oil inventories. So I expect to be a negative number. That's expected because of the what's happening now in the Strait of Hormuz. That's why it's likely going to push it down further. All right. So today it's only this. Tomorrow we have big more news. Let's take a look. Or not, still coming in. Okay, tomorrow we have the initial jobless claim. The previous one is 208,000. Now we're looking at 211. So that should be another increment. Now, to me, it's the jobless claim is expected to increase because people are losing job. That is a fair fact. With AI coming in, more people will lose their job. Yeah, that's personally how I feel. And of course, for this coming Friday, what do we have? Just one minute. Let me send in the data. A bit slow this morning. All right, we have the S&P manufacturing PMI, which is not really the main thing that we will see. New home sales are expected to be a bit higher, but not really big news. Yeah. So this week is very light news. So the market is very easy to be manipulated. All right. So please take note of that. Okay. Very, very important. Okay, now the thing is this, we all know that 29 July coming in, we will have the next FOMC meeting. So the next meeting is is 1 week from today, and we can see right now 74.99% of people expect the rate to stay the same, but there's an increment to 25% that there will be a rate hike. So apparently itself, right, yesterday we saw was what 80%, and now it has dropped to 74.9%. So there are more and more people believe that there could be a rate hike, all right, this coming July. But number is still very low. It's only at 25%. So that is most likely the market will buy into no hike this coming July. But if you look at the one in September, which is next 2 months later, there's a very high chance that the market is expecting a rate hike. 55.7% expect a rate hike. Yeah. So that is the reason why the market, the bond price is actually coming down right now as we are speaking. Okay. Now, I told you guys don't buy SpaceX. Remember, I told you the SpaceX cannot buy. And I told you that you go back to 150, the start of the IPO day. But I told you it will go back to the IPO price. And I tell you that 120 will be my first target. Yes, indeed. So SpaceX has come down to 120. Now, yesterday I should have covered this. I've forgotten about it. But anyway, 120 reached. That's why yesterday we saw a rebound. Okay. Now, is it a good time to buy SpaceX? No, I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I think SpaceX will double around here and then it will trip down to about 84 to 86 level. Then maybe you can try to buy some SpaceX for the fun of it. Okay, I repeat, if you want to buy SpaceX now, I think that if you want to buy for fun for 120 to buy for fun, you can do that. But if you ask me, I'll prefer you to buy SpaceX when it goes down to 84 to 86 level. Then you buy will be a better choice. Okay, all clear? If all clear, press number 1. Right now, we have more than 80 people online this morning. Very good job done, guys. All right. Okay. All right. Next thing is this. I told you about CRAZII. Now, CRAZII yesterday share rebounded because it dropped by 30%. So obviously there was some immediate rebound yesterday. CRAZII recovered more than 3.56%, but I don't think it will hold. I don't think it will hold. So likely KOSPI today will open and likely go down again. In my opinion, that will likely be happening. So I believe that KOSPI will only see a bottom around 6,300. Where are we right now? We are 66,747. So I believe that there should be another about 4 to 5% drop. All right, another 4 to 5% drop. Then maybe we will see the KOSPI coming to a halt. Okay. All right, at least that is what I'm seeing right now. So traders, once again, for KOSPI, do not chase this price. I think we should wait for another lower level. I think that we can afford to wait until 6,300. Then maybe we can take a look. Okay. All right, next thing is that I told you guys about the intervention of the US dollar against the Japanese dollar. Now, every time when the Japan government comes in to so-called save the day by selling the yen to push it down, you will see the intermediate sell-off, okay? But I show you many times, the market eventually will come back, all right? It will always come back to where it starts, and always it'll go higher than it is. So recently, when the BOJ, right, Bank of Japan, did the same thing again, yes, there were a few days of selling, but I told you guys it will come back, and truth be told, it went up again. And then, of course, recently they try again, and now it failed again. So I can tell you this, Bank of Japan is literally wasting money doing this. And every time they do this, I can guarantee you a sure win trade near and around the corner. So guys, understand this. So if it's going to happen again, you can do it again and expect the same result once again. So that is a really how CRAZII also do. CRAZII believe in repeated pattern. We believe that things always happen in a very systematical, rhythmic way of recoming back again. So that is why I felt that there will be a day again, the Bank of Japan will just have to sell down again the dollar, the yen, and then the yen, and then let it sideways and then go back again. Okay. So I expect this happen because now we are at all-time high again for the Japanese yen. So we're all-time high. So we need to break it down. Okay, or in this case, it's all-time low for the yen. Okay. All right. All cool. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is how we see the yen. And of course, if you go to my x.com, you will see this very interesting pattern. Now, what someone did was that they take the 1990s market, the S&P in 1990s, and then they basically curve fit it to today. And seemingly there is a interesting wow pattern together. So that's why they are suspecting that the market could have a selling in the next few weeks or months. Well, I cannot say that this thing worked, but there is a very eerie resemblance. So maybe for fun of it, you can expect the market to pull back, right? But I don't think it'll be like this. I still think that the market will still pull back and then go to a new high before a bigger pullback later. Okay, that is my personal view. So I don't buy whatever this guy is saying, but then at least for now, yes, we're on the same page, but not the second part. Okay. All right. Anyway, this is all interesting fun. And if you go to my tweet on my x.com today, I posted up more important stuff, like example, the US Treasuries. I posted on the unwinding of the leverages. I posted on the market now is very independent. And of course, Central Bank of China is buying a lot of gold. And of course, we have the movement that had before in the past. And all these details are very good information. I purposely selected them. So take a look over there. Okay. All right. I know today we talked a lot on the fundamental because I think it's more important than the technical. All right. So today, let's go now into the technical and you will see my view right now. So this morning, gold opened at 8082. Okay. And now it's trading very closely to the MA30 at 4076. Now, there must be a reason for me to wake up this morning to do this with you because I want to tell you that gold now is a very dangerous position. Dangerous, yeah? Why? Because you look carefully, gold has went up, yes, but the KSI is red. So something is definitely very wrong now. Second, the last time we saw this, okay, we saw the similar thing. The gold was going up, but the KSI has turned red, okay? And then what happened? Boom. The gold price come back down to where it started exactly that what we have preached in our classes, the elephant trade. So that's why this morning, if you look at our market, market analysis, we talk about the bearish elephant, yeah? Okay. All right. Now, the thing is this. The next thing is that if you look at K trend, now K trend, this is K trend, this is K trend. So could this be K trend too? Well, it is possible. If the market today open and start to go down and become a red candle, which is a very high chance it may turn to a red candle, then the K trend is going to formulate. And the K trend is formulate, then it's very clear the market will end as a red candle. And then after that, start to trade down. So this morning, you can see right now, the market is still helping, fighting at OP. It's already 1 hour and 21 minutes, and it's still fighting at the OP level. That's very interesting because they do know that the MA30 is just right the corner. So my personal take is this. If the market stays up today, okay, go up, then it will go to as high as 4117, okay? So upside is confirmed if it goes up above OP. But the downside, when the market do break the MA30, we expect it to come down to 4054 because that happened to be the MLP and the pivot 2. So guys, I think that there's a higher chance for gold to trade downwards than upwards. Now, of course, you may say, KEL, but why yesterday the gold go up when the KSI is red? Now, remember, guys, the market have its mind on its own. So if the boys want to buy above OP yesterday, you must follow to buy. Even though the KSI is red, it doesn't matter. You just have to buy together with the boys, but buy smaller quantity and take profit along the way. That is the way you use CRAZII, and not using the KSI to dictate the market and tell me why KSI is red, but the price is going up. No, do not do that. Remember the 5 rules of trading. First rule, OP. Second rule, color. Third rule, MLP. Fourth rule, KSI. KSI is rule number 4, while OP is rule number 1. Tell me once again, who is stronger, 1 or number 4? All right, so this guy, very important. Yeah, all clear? If all clear, press number 2 right now. So you must understand that every day, we are always repeating ourselves over and over again. All we need to do is to follow what we learn and then apply. Okay, that is very, very important. Okay, all right, so that is the goal analysis. Let's look at the next market, which is the US Dow Jones. Okay, so let's look at the US Dow Jones now. Now, remember, guys, when you don't see any diamond on your screen, do not panic. This only happened for MT4. Now, for this CRAZII.com chart, it actually refresh every second. So that's why the diamond will always be available on the CRAZII.com chart. But come to MT4 itself, right? The refresh rate is only for the MT4 side. It's not for our indicator. So you need to do one thing, right click, okay, right click, press refresh. And once you've done that, you'll see the diamond all popping up, all right? So remember this important step. Okay, let's now look at the whole chart. Now, today, the Dow Jones is trading above the OP, or the OP is above the pivot 1 in this case. So it's actually a bullish sentiment, all right? Because above OP, above pivot 1 is always a buy. But on the premises that the market must stay above OP, yeah, very important. Now, we have a MA30, which is at 52,312. So that means that if the market can break above this number, the Dow will be a strong buy because it broke above the MA30. Okay, so traders, watch out for this 52,312. That will be a very important resistance, which the market may have to tap for it to go higher. Now, interestingly, the KSI retained as red, even though it's declining, but it's still red. So that's why the price is still coming down. So the thing is this, I believe that the Dow will tap this number later, pivot 1, 52,041, just on retracement ground. Anything more than that, it has to break below MLP before it tests the 51,884 for the KCB. I kind of believe that if the market do break below the pivot 1, then KCB should be able to be triggered, all right? So traders, watch out for this 51,884. Okay, this one, very important number. All right, so that is the Dow. Okay, next one, the NASDAQ. Now, the NASDAQ, I have been bearish, but today we can see that there's a change over here. The KSI has split to green color, pretty strong green. So let's watch this carefully because it's a KCL over here. Now, KCL is the line that comes from a color change with the KSI in the same direction. So in this case, you can see the CCRY, red to yellow, and the KSI is green. That's why you have the KCL. Okay, that's how you get the KCL. Yeah. Okay, so today's opening price is 29,133, and now it's trading near to the KCL. Not a good sign. So which means that if the market do break below KCL, there is a chance for the Nasdaq to pull back down to pivot one at 28,921. Okay, it is possible. Now, because of the KSI, because of the color candle, it's all yellow and green. For the downside, it's a bit hard. But if you look carefully, there is a potential of a K trend. Yes, potential. So if the bar turns to red color, then the K trend is in, then that is where I will sell. So I'm actually waiting for this for the last 2 days. All right, many people think that why am I not calling for buy? Because I'm not comfortable with the current situation right now. And I think that we can have a choice in trading. You can choose to buy for the day, you can sell for the day, or you can choose to just wait for the right time to do what you're supposed to do. So example, in a market that's downtrend, there will always be, when the market is downtrend, there will always be this recovery, right? Now, some people say, why, KEL, you don't buy this recovery? Why don't you just buy and make both money? Now, I did do that, just that it's not very easy for me because I'm traveling a lot and I do have a lot of meetings and appointments. Sometimes I don't have time to rest. But when the market recovers itself, right, if I'm not going to buy, I can wait for it to come down later and sell it down over here, right? So I don't need to always stress myself to trade every single day. Got it, my friends? So all clear? If all clear, press number 3 right now. All right. So this is a very important psychology of trading that you must remember. Just like when the market is downward trend, right? Many people ask me, sorry, it's upward trend. Sorry, sorry, my bad. When the market is upward trend, people ask me, KEL, why don't you sell during the point like this? I said, I don't need to do that. If I know the market is going to go up, after the sell is over, I can come in to buy over here, right? So it's really a matter of perspective and strategy, I think. Okay. All right, so that is the Nasdaq for you. Let's look at my favorite, which is oil right now. Now, gold and oil are my favorite, and of course, you can see why is that so. Now, oil has went up because of what is happening now in Saudi Arabia, and you can see oil price today's opening price is 84.21. It's above MLP, it's above MA30, MA200, and MA30. So this is a very strong bull buy. Okay, so I believe that the gap is covered. You can see it's covered very nicely over here. The gap is covered and it's firmly now trying to stay above the gap. So if the gap is because of the war, then now the covering of the gap means that the war is going to continue, right? So it's a very simple inverse relationship. So because of that, I believe that oil is going to test $86 soon. And in fact itself, okay, if you see your KCBs on top flying, same thing, refresh your screen, you'll come back. And you can see that the next target is over here. Oil price is $86.88 as my next target because MA230 and MA200 KSI are all very bullish. Now, if oil break $86.88, wow, the next target can be as high as $92.74. Now, that will definitely push gold price much, much lower. All right. So let's just give a very simple view on this. Okay. When the last time then when the oil price hit 92.74, the date itself is on the 11th of June. Remember, 11th of June. Yeah. So just take on this. Let me take a quick picture now. 11th of June. So 11th of June, let me take this away. I put back gold into the picture. 11th of June, okay? So 11th of June, the gold price back then was trading around here. And that gives me, let me see, that gives me about 4,000 or 4,100 around there. So back then, when the oil price was coming down, gold price hit a low later on here, all the way to below 4,000. So that's why this is something very, very interesting. So you need to watch out for that. Okay. So guys, take note when the gold price when the crude oil was at a higher level, the gold price was coming down. Okay. So take note of that, guys. This is very important. Okay. All right. So that will be all for today. Yes, China market. There's a request on China market. Now, China market today, we saw a strong recovery because of KOSPI index, but the KSI is actually great in color. So because of that itself, right, it's part of the K trend. Don't you see that? This is K trend, this is K trend. So if today, if China market open and go down, that means it's a sell. It'll let it come back down over here again. So traders, watch out for this. This might be a sell later today. Okay. All right, guys, that will be all for this morning session. I'm really glad that you guys have came in. In overall perspective, it's simple. I expect the market to pull back these 2 days. So traders, please do not trade too heavily, and you can follow the OP trade and generate as much profit as possible. All right, guys, thank you very much. Take care. Thank you for coming in. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Teacher, thank you.
Bye-bye.